Everyone, good morning. I am Jonathan Mathis, the sports judge. Thanks for joining me this morning for another short video. It is Wednesday, January 4th. Hope all is well. I'm doing well. I'm inside. It is wet and rainy outside, so I'm inside staying dry this morning. It's been a weird start to the new year. We have been following the story about Bill's safety, Damar Hamlin. It's been a tough week for the NFL. It's been an emotional week for a lot of us. And a lot of us have been shaken by the devastating events that we all unfortunately witnessed on Monday night. Damar Hamlin is doing well. He's doing better than what he was. So that's great to hear. I think that's what we all been waiting to hear. But what we witnessed Monday night was horrifying, was jarring, and was chilling. Like I've said in the prior video, I've been watching football for a very long time, and I don't recall ever seeing anything quite like that. We've as football fans, we've been watching this game for such a long time, and just the reaction from all the players after what took place the other night said it all about what happened out there. Hamlin went into cardiac arrest after making a tackle. He made the tackle. He got up, took a few steps, then collapsed on the field. And everyone saw him fall to the ground. Like usual, my immediate reaction was that, well, it's some type of injury. Most likely he's gonna have to be either carted off the field, or he's gonna get up under his own power and walk off the field and be evaluated by medical personnel in the blue tent over on the sideline, and things will be okay. He was on the field for 9 minutes. He was unresponsive for 9 minutes as medical staff had to resuscitate him. He stopped breathing. In reality, this man died on the field. And he had to be revived. This was different. This wasn't your ordinary football injury. This was different. It was an unprecedented scene. It was absolutely terrifying. And, we talk about it all the time, how violent this sport is, how dangerous this sport is. And there is really nothing we can do to take the danger out of the sport. Yeah, we can, implement rule changes. We can, change helmets. We could try to make the game as safe as possible, but it's a contact sport. And this is always what these players fear when they put on the pads and the helmets. But no one is ever prepared for a moment like what we saw Monday night. No one is ever ready to see something that traumatic like we did on Monday night. That was tough for a lot of us. And this will have an effect on our mental health, for sure. You saw players on the sideline sobbing. You saw tears rolling down the faces of those players. And that's not been weak. It wasn't, those players wasn't showing a sign of weakness. You know, it wasn't about being weak. That was an abundance of humanity. And that's what you saw Monday night. Those players showed humanity in the way they handled themselves, in the way that they conducted themselves out on the field. The one scene that stood out to me was Zach Taylor and Sean McDermott, both coaches coming together. They were having a brief conversation. Both of them were talking over near the sideline. And you kind of understood the gravity of the situation when you saw that moment transpiring on the field. This is scary. It was absolutely scary. And it's a reminder that NFL players are humans. We tend to forget that. We see them as superheroes. But they are human as well. And we've seen some pretty ugly hits over the years. We've seen players suffer torn ACLs. We've seen players break bones. And we also seen what the game can do years down the road to a lot of these players who are long retired. There are so many players that's suffering from head trauma. You know, I don't celebrate a big hit like I used to. I used to crave for the big hits, but now that you learn the repercussions from those big hits, you kind of pause and say, well, was that big hit really worth it? Because in the end, will it affect this player's health? What would it mean down the road for that player and his well-being and his health? Those are things you have to take into consideration now when you see a player take a nasty big hit. But Hamlin, it seems like it's positive news now. Hamlin is currently in an intensive care unit. His oxygen level has improved. So he has made improvement according to his uncle. He's doing better. He's still sedated. He's still breathing on a ventilator. But it looks like he's going to make a full recovery when it's all said and done. So that's great news for the NFL world, for his family particularly, and for all of us. That's great news to hear that he is making progress, that he has made progress overnight. And that's the news that I think a lot of us have been waiting for. However, it's still hard to move on from this. I don't see how you can go on playing week 18 because I know with my mental health and, how emotional of a person I am, I don't think that I could just move on that quickly and get back on the field. We don't really know where these guys' heads are at. And, everyone handles situations like these differently. We all handle things differently. Some of us are an emotional wreck after this. I know I was. And I'm not even a football player, but you saw the brotherhood, you saw the camaraderie. These guys compete at such a high level. They play a game. It's a game. And, although they are competitors, they are also brothers. So there was, so much togetherness on that field. Um, that was the epitome of brotherhood when those players came together and when everyone walked off the field together. You even had Bengals players going to the opposing team's locker room just to see how Hamlin was doing, if they had any news or if they had any new information on his status. So I mean that's just some of it, and I mean this is really really challenging for a lot of people. It really is. I'm glad the game stopped as it should have. There was no way you could continue on plan. And we get it. A lot of these fans, man, they think these guys are superhuman for sure. But they ultimately are people who deserve our respect and our care. And those are two things they don't always receive from us. Because like we always do, we take life for granted. We take everything for granted, right? And I mean, you saw another side of these players. You saw players started to cry, sob into towels. That's when I knew that this was different. That something was seriously wrong. They knew. We knew. They absolutely knew that that something was seriously concerning on the field for him to lay down as long as he was. You saw medical equipment on the field. Um, CPR had to be administered. That's scary. At that point, it's a matter of life and death. And there are many things to say about this scary and tragic case. And that's been something that's been lingering in the NFL for quite some time now. And they know what they sign up for. They know the level of violence they see every week, and they're conditioned enough to understand that injuries are going to happen. That there's going to come a time where players get banged up and be sent out, you know, on the injured list. It's just gonna happen. Those things are inevitable. I mean, it's really unavoidable. But when I watched that game on Monday night, to me, it looked like it was a routine tackle. I mean, there was nothing dirty about the play. It was a routine tackle, which is what makes this more horrifying. You know, again, this was different. This was a lot different. Um, it it's a brutal hit for sure for the NFL. Um, and it's a reminder that you know this game could be very very scary. And I think it was scary for all of us to see him collapse on the field. It really was. And there are times that we forget their humanity because they are humans as well. There are times that we think of them as robots with no feelings, and these are grown men who have feelings too. They have families. Their dads, their brothers, their cousins, their uncles, their friends. They're human. And sometimes I think we focus on the wrong things, in life, and I get it. It's a source of entertainment. Football is a source of entertainment. People look forward to the games each week. And sometimes I think we take the games more seriously than the people who are actually engaged in the sport and who is on the field, playing the sport. I think that's where we tend to lose focus on the bigger story. And, it's just an unfortunate situation, and I just pray that he makes a full recovery and that he bounces back from this, because it's really scary. But again, that's the type of sport it is, And again, the playoff race, fantasy championships, and all those other things that we obsess over, that none of that matters right now. That all seems small right now. What matters more and what we should be concerned more about and what we should care more about is the health and the well-being and the safety of Damar Hamlin. I'll see you guys later. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. You guys have a great day. If you haven't yet, like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you guys. Peace.